The morning sun painted the forest in shades of gold and green. Hana moved quietly between the trees, her emerald skin blending with the leaves around her. Her daughter Nari followed close behind, humming a soft tune that made Hana smile despite her worry. "Mama, look." Nari held up a small flower, its petals shifting from blue to purple in the light. "Can we take this one home?" Hana knelt beside her daughter and touched the flower gently. "Not this one, sweet child. This flower is still growing. We only take what the forest can spare." She pointed to a cluster of white blooms nearby. "Those are ready. Those will help your grandfather's cough." Nari nodded and carefully picked the white flowers, placing them in the small basket she carried. At 7 cycles old, she was learning the old ways, the medicine paths that Hana's mother had taught her. These traditions kept their people alive on Valon 7, a world that grew more dangerous with each passing season. The Kreth had come to their planet 3 cycles ago. They were tall warriors with red skin like dried blood and eyes that saw only conquest and glory. They spoke of honor and tradition, but Hana saw only cruelty. The Kreth treated her people like animals, like prey to be hunted for sport. "Mama, my basket is almost full," Nari said proudly. "Good, then we should head back before—" The sound cut through the forest like a knife, a horn deep and terrible echoing between the hills. Hana's blood went cold. She knew that sound. Every Velani knew that sound, the hunting horn. "Run," Hana whispered. She grabbed Nari's hand. "Run now," they ran. The basket fell, spilling flowers across the ground. Hana didn't care. Nothing mattered except getting Nari to safety. Their settlement was 2 miles away through dense forest. If they could reach it, the Kreth wouldn't follow. The warriors had rules, twisted rules, but rules nonetheless. They didn't hunt near settlements. They wanted their prey afraid and alone. Behind them, Hana heard voices. Loud voices, laughing voices. The Kreth were enjoying this. To them, this was sport. To them, this was how young warriors proved themselves worthy. "Mama, I'm scared," Nari cried as they ran. "I know, baby. I know, just keep running. Don't look back." The trees blurred past them. Hana's lungs burned. She was fast, but not fast enough. The Kreth were faster. They were stronger. They were hunters bred for this. An arrow struck a tree beside Hana's head. The energy bolt sizzled, leaving a black mark on the bark. They were shooting now, playing with them. They could have killed them already if they wanted. But the Kreth liked the chase. They liked the fear. This way. Hana pulled Nari toward a rocky area ahead. Maybe they could hide. Maybe they could find a cave or a crevice too small for the Kreth to follow. They scrambled over rocks, Nari's small hands scraping on stone. Hana pulled her daughter up, pushed her forward, always forward. The settlement was still so far away. Too far. The rocks formed a natural wall ahead. For a moment, Hana felt hope. Then she saw the truth. The wall was too high to climb. Too smooth. It curved around them on 3 sides. They were trapped. "Mama?" Nari's voice was so small, so afraid. Hana looked back. The Kreth emerged from the trees. 12 of them, all young males wearing hunting leather and carrying their traditional bows. They moved with confidence, with arrogance. They had cornered their prey. The leader stepped forward. He was tall even for a Kreth, with fresh scars on his chest that marked recent victories. He spoke in Galactic Common, the language all species learned. "You ran well, little ones. That will make this hunt more honorable. We are people, not prey," Hana shouted. "We have settlements, families, lives." The leader laughed.
"You are what we say you are."
"The galaxy is for the strong. You are weak. That is the natural order." The 12 Kreth raised their bows as one. The weapons hummed with energy, ready to fire. Hana didn't think. She grabbed Nari and pulled her daughter behind her, wrapping her arms around the small body. If arrows were coming, they would hit her first. Nari would live a few seconds longer. Maybe in those seconds a miracle would happen. The first arrow struck Hana's shoulder. Pain exploded through her body, white and hot. She screamed but held Nari tighter. The second arrow hit her back. The third struck her leg. Each impact felt like fire, like being torn apart. Hana's vision blurred. She could feel her blood warm and wet soaking her clothes. Nari was crying beneath her, trembling like a leaf in a storm. Hana wanted to tell her daughter it would be okay. She wanted to lie and make the fear go away, but she couldn't speak. She could only hold on. The Kreth were laughing, congratulating each other on good shots. They were taking their time, savoring the kill. This was their entertainment. Hana's strength was fading. The rocks beneath her were stained green with her blood. She could hear Nari's heartbeat against her chest, fast and frightened. This beautiful child who loved flowers and songs would die here. She would die alone in a cruel galaxy that didn't care. No. With the last of her strength, Hana lifted her head. She opened her mouth and screamed. Not a scream of pain, but a scream for help. She screamed in Galactic Common, the words tearing from her throat. "Help us, please! Someone help us!" The Kreth laughed harder. "Scream all you want, Prey. No one comes to this sector anymore. No one will save you." Hana's head fell forward. She was so tired, so cold. She held Nari and waited for the darkness to take them both. 3 miles away, in a small clearing where a human ship sat among the trees, Jinwoo was checking his mapping equipment. He was planning trade routes, marking safe paths through the forest. It was boring work, but it paid well. Then he heard it. A scream. A mother's scream. A scream that said everything without needing translation. A scream that said, "Save my child." Jinwoo looked at his equipment, then at the direction of the scream. Every logical part of his brain said to ignore it. This wasn't his planet. These weren't his people. Getting involved meant trouble. But Jinwoo was human, and humans didn't leave people screaming for help. He grabbed his pack and ran toward the sound. The hunt was about to change. Jinwoo ran through the forest like his life depended on it. In truth, it probably did. Running toward danger instead of away from it was statistically stupid. His survival instructor at military academy would have failed him for this decision. But that same instructor had also taught him something else. We don't leave people behind. Not ever. He pulled out his hand scanner while running. The device showed heat signatures ahead. 14 life forms, 12 standing, 2 on the ground. One of the ground signatures was fading fast. Come on, Jinwoo muttered, pushing himself faster. His legs burned. His lungs screamed for air. Humans weren't the fastest species in the galaxy. They weren't the strongest either. But they could run for hours when they needed to. Their ancestors had hunted animals by chasing them until they collapsed from exhaustion. That ancient ability was still in their blood. He could hear voices now. Laughing. The sound made anger burn in his chest. Jinwoo burst through the trees into a rocky clearing. He took in the scene in 2 seconds. A woman with emerald skin was collapsed on the ground, 3 arrows sticking out of her body. She was covering a small child with her own body. Around them stood 12 warriors with red skin, holding bows and celebrating like they had just won a game. The Kreth. Jinwoo recognized them from his briefing files. Honor-obsessed warriors who thought strength gave them the right to do whatever they wanted. "Hey!" Jinwoo shouted. The 12 Kreth turned. They looked at him with surprise that quickly turned to amusement. The leader, a tall warrior with fresh scars, smiled. "A human? Here? You are far from your territory, small one." Small? Jinwoo was 6 feet tall, which was average for a human but short by Kreth standards. Yeah, I get that a lot. Here's the thing, though. You're going to step away from them now. The Kreth laughed, all 12 of them. The leader stepped forward. "Human, your species is weak. You die from simple toxins. Your bones break easily. You have no claws, no natural armor, no venom. Why do you think you can challenge us?" "Because I'm having a really bad day," Jinwoo said. "And you're hunting kids. So yeah, I'm going to stop you." "Brave words for prey," the leader said. "I have heard stories of humans. You are supposed to be clever. Clever enough to know when to run away." Jinwoo reached into his pack and pulled out 3 small spheres. "Funny thing about humans. We don't run away. We run toward. We're stupid like that." He threw the spheres. The Kreth leader's eyes went wide. "Scatter!" The first sphere exploded with light. Brilliant, blinding light that turned the clearing into noon sun. The second sphere released smoke. Thick chemical smoke that burned eyes and throats. The third sphere was a sonic disruptor. It screamed at a frequency that hurt most species to hear. In the chaos, Jinwoo moved. He wasn't graceful. He wasn't elegant. But he was fast and he was angry. He reached the woman and child in 3 seconds. The woman, Hana, looked up at him with eyes that couldn't quite focus. "Who?" "Someone who heard you scream," Jinwoo said. He checked her wounds quickly. Bad, but not immediately fatal if he moved fast. The child beneath her was unharmed but terrified. Around them, the Kreth were recovering from the flash and smoke. They were shouting, angry now instead of amused. Jinwoo made a decision. He scooped up Hana in his arms. She was lighter than he expected. The planet's gravity was less than Earth's, so the locals had evolved lighter frames. "Kid, hold on to me, tight." The little girl Nari stared at him with huge eyes. "Are you a monster?" "Probably," Jinwoo admitted. "But I'm your monster right now, come on." Nari wrapped her arms around his neck. Jinwoo stood with both of them, Hana cradled in his arms and Nari on his back. He was carrying maybe 90 pounds total. On Earth this would be hard. Here with lower gravity it was possible. He ran. Behind him the Kreth roared. Arrows flew past his head. One grazed his arm, leaving a burning line of pain. Jinwoo didn't stop. He crashed into the forest using trees as cover, moving in patterns his old combat instructor had drilled into him. Zigzag. Never run straight. Make yourself hard to hit. After him, the Kreth leader shouted. "No one escapes, no one." Jinwoo's earpiece crackled. "Jinwoo status?" It was Do-hyun, his partner and engineer. "Really bad." Jinwoo panted as he ran. "Got civilians. Multiple hostiles. Need extraction." "You said you were just mapping routes." "Plans changed." There was a long sigh on the other end. "They always do with you. Sending coordinates for pickup point. It's 2 miles north. 2 miles. Can you make it closer?" "Trees are too thick. That's the best I can do. 2 miles." Jinwoo looked at Hana. She was bleeding badly. 2 miles might kill her, but staying here definitely would. "On my way," Jinwoo said. He ran north. His arms were already burning from carrying Hana. Nari clung to his back, whimpering quietly. Behind them, he could hear the Kreth crashing through the forest. They were faster than him, stronger, better suited to this terrain. But Jinwoo had something they didn't. Endurance. Human endurance. The ability to keep going when every muscle screamed to stop. The ability to run for miles because once, long ago on Earth, that's how humans survived. Minutes passed. 10, 20, 30. Jinwoo's breathing was ragged. His legs felt like they were made of lead. Sweat poured down his face despite the cool forest air. But he kept running. "Why are you helping us?" Hana whispered against his chest. "You don't know us. You asked for help," Jinwoo said simply. "What else was I supposed to do?" Hana's eyes filled with tears. In all her life, no one outside her people had ever helped them. The galaxy had watched the Kreth hunt her species and done nothing. But this strange human had run toward danger to save strangers. "What are you?" she whispered. Jinwoo managed a tired smile. "Just a human. We're weird like that." The Kreth were getting closer. Jinwoo could hear their voices, their hunting calls. They were coordinating, trying to surround him. He pushed himself harder, faster, even though his body begged him to stop. "Do-hyun, I need you now." Jinwoo gasped into his comm. 30 seconds. Ahead, the trees opened into a clearing. Jinwoo burst through and saw the most beautiful sight of his life. His ship, the Wanderer, hovering 10 feet off the ground. The cargo ramp was down. Do-hyun stood at the top with a rifle. "Move," Do-hyun shouted. Jinwoo ran for the ramp. Behind him, the Kreth burst from the trees. Arrows flew. One hit the ship's hull with a clang. Another buried itself in the dirt at Jinwoo's feet. He reached the ramp and practically threw himself inside. Do-hyun fired 3 covering shots, not to kill but to make the Kreth think twice.
"Taemin, get us up."
Now the ship lifted. Jinwoo collapsed on the floor, still holding Hana, with Nari crying on his back. His entire body shook from exhaustion. Below them, the Kreth leader stood in the clearing, staring up at the ship. Even from this distance, Jinwoo could see the rage in his eyes. This wasn't over. But for now, they were safe. "Medical bay," Do-hyun said, helping Jinwoo stand. "Let's save her life. Then you can explain why you always do this." Jinwoo looked at Nari's frightened face, at Hana's bleeding body. "Because someone had to," he said quietly. And that was the most human answer in the galaxy. The medical bay of the Wanderer was small, meant for treating minor injuries and stabilizing patients until they could reach a proper hospital. Jinwoo laid Hana on the medical bed while Nari stood nearby, her small hands clutching his jacket. Do-hyun was already pulling out supplies, his hands moving with practiced efficiency. He had been a combat medic before becoming an engineer. Some skills you never forgot. "Talk to me. What am I dealing with?" 3 arrow wounds, energy-based. She's lost blood." "Lots of it." Jinwoo's own hands were stained green with Hana's blood. "Green blood means copper-based, not iron," Do-hyun muttered, scanning Hana with a medical scanner. "Good news is the arrows cauterized the wound somewhat. Bad news is she's in shock and her body temperature is dropping." Nari whimpered. Jinwoo knelt beside her, putting himself at her eye level. Hey, look at me. What's your name? Nari, the little girl whispered. Nari, that's a pretty name. I'm Jinwoo. My friend Do-hyun is going to fix your mom. He's very good at this. But I need you to be brave. Can you do that? Nari nodded, tears streaming down her emerald cheeks. Good girl. Jinwoo squeezed her shoulder gently. Your mom was very brave too. She protected you. Now we're going to protect both of you. Do-hyun worked quickly, removing the arrows and sealing the wounds with medical foam. She needs proper treatment. A real hospital. But this will keep her alive for now. Yuna entered the medical bay. She was shorter than Jinwoo, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. She had been a weapons specialist in the Earth Defense Force before joining their crew. We've got a problem. 3 Kreth fighters just launched from the surface. They're tracking us. Of course they are, Jinwoo sighed. Can we outrun them? Not with the damage they did to our hull. That arrow that hit us cracked a stabilizer. We're flying, but not fast. Yuna looked at Hana and Nari. So, you rescued locals. Again. They needed help. You're going to get us killed one day with that attitude. Probably. Jinwoo stood up. But not today. Can you buy Do-hyun time to finish treating her? Yuna smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. I can make them regret chasing us. Taemin, she shouted toward the cockpit. Get ready for some fun flying. From the cockpit, Taemin's voice came back. Why do you always say fun when you mean terrifying? The ship shuddered as the Kreth fighters opened fire. Not enough to destroy the Wanderer, but enough to force them down. The Kreth wanted their prey back. They wanted revenge. Nari, hold on to something, Jinwoo said. He made sure she was strapped into a seat, then headed to the cockpit. The view through the front window showed the 3 Kreth fighters, sleek and dangerous. They were firing plasma bolts, trying to disable the engines. They're herding us toward that mountain range, Taemin said. He was young, barely 20, but he could fly better than pilots twice his age, trying to force us to land. Then we don't go where they want us to go, Jinwoo said. He pulled up a map of the area. There, that canyon. It's narrow. Taemin looked at the canyon and paled. That's insane. Our ship is too big. Their ships are bigger. They won't follow. You're assuming I can fit through. I've seen you fly. You can do it. Taemin swallowed hard. Then he grinned. All right. Let's see if I'm as good as you think I am. The Wanderer dove toward the canyon. The Kreth fighters followed, firing steadily. One shot hit the rear shield, making the whole ship shake. Yuna, return fire, Jinwoo called, way ahead of you. The ship's rear guns opened up. Yuna wasn't trying to destroy the Kreth fighters. She was trying to annoy them, to make them angry and careless. It worked. The Kreth pilots flew more aggressively, closing the distance. The canyon loomed ahead. It was narrow, with walls of red stone rising on both sides. The opening looked impossibly small. Taemin? Do-hyun's voice was worried from the medical bay. Trust me, Taemin whispered. Then louder, everyone hold on. The Wanderer shot into the canyon. The walls blurred past on both sides, so close that Jinwoo could see the rock texture. Taemin flew with absolute focus, making tiny corrections, keeping them centered. Behind them, 2 Kreth fighters entered the canyon. The third held back, unwilling to risk the tight space. They're still coming, Yuna reported. The canyon twisted left, then right. Taemin followed every curve, his hand steady on the controls. The Kreth fighters tried to match him, but they were bigger, less maneuverable. One fighter scraped its wing on the canyon wall. Sparks flew. The pilot panicked and pulled up hard, too hard. The fighter clipped the canyon rim and exploded in a ball of fire. One down, Yuna cheered. The second Kreth fighter was more careful now. It hung back, waiting for the canyon to widen. The pilot was smart, patient. Coming up on the end of the canyon, Taemin warned. It opens into a valley. They'll have room to maneuver there. Jinwoo thought fast. Humans weren't smarter than other species. They didn't have bigger brains or better technology, but they were good at thinking sideways, at finding solutions that didn't follow the rules. When we exit the canyon, cut all power, Jinwoo said. Drop like a rock. What? Do it, Taemin didn't argue. The Wanderer burst out of the canyon into open air. Then every engine cut. The ship dropped, falling like a stone toward the valley floor. The Kreth fighter shot past overhead, its pilot expecting the human ship to keep flying forward. By the time the Kreth pilot realized his mistake, the Wanderer was gone from his sensors, hidden in the valley's thick forest. Taemin restarted the engines at the last second. The ship leveled out, skimming just above the trees. That was insane. That was human, Yuna corrected. We don't fight fair. We fight smart. Back in the medical bay, Nari had watched the whole chase through a small window. She looked at Jinwoo with wide eyes. You're all crazy, Jinwoo laughed. Yeah, we get that a lot. Hana's eyes fluttered open. The medical foam had done its work. She was weak but alive. She saw Jinwoo and tears filled her eyes. You came back for us. Of course I did. Why? Hana's voice was barely a whisper. We're nothing to you, strangers. Why risk your life? Jinwoo knelt beside her bed. My people have a saying. No one gets left behind. It doesn't matter if we know you or not. You needed help. That's enough. Nari climbed onto the bed and hugged her mother carefully, avoiding her wounds. Hana held her daughter and cried. They were alive. Against all odds, they were alive. Do-Hyun put a hand on Jinwoo's shoulder. So what now? We can't take them back to their settlement. The Kreth will just hunt them again. I know, Jinwoo said quietly. He looked at Hana and Nari. I have an idea, but you're not going to like it. Do we ever? Yuna said. Jinwoo pulled up a comm screen and started typing. I'm going to ask for help. From who? Every human in this sector. Jinwoo started composing a message, his fingers flying over the keyboard. Someone is hunting innocent people for sport. Someone is turning children into prey. I'm going to tell them what's happening here, and then we're going to see what happens when humans decide to care about something. Do-Hyun read the message over his shoulder. You're going to start a war. No, Jinwoo said. I'm going to stop one. There's a difference. He hit send. The message went out across every frequency, every channel where humans might be listening. It was simple and direct. This is Jinwoo of the Wanderer. I'm on Valon 7. The Kreth are hunting the locals for sport. Mothers and children. Someone needs to stop this. Someone needs to help. Is anyone out there willing to stand up? Then he waited. In the vastness of space, surrounded by aliens who didn't care, Jinwoo wondered if any humans would answer. He didn't have to wait long. The comm screen lit up. Then again. And again. Messages poured in from human ships across the sector. This is the cargo ship Morningstar. We're 3 days out. Coming to help. Freelancer vessel Quicksilver here. What do you need? Independent trader Bright Sky. Count us in. More messages. Dozens of them. Humans he'd never met. Humans who had no reason to care. Humans who were changing course to help strangers on a planet they'd never heard of. Yuna stared at the screen in disbelief. They're all coming, why? Jinwoo looked at Nari, who was watching with confusion and wonder. Because that's what humans do. Someone screamed for help, so we answer. It was the most human thing in the galaxy. 5 days after Jinwoo's message went out, 23 human ships sat in orbit around Valon 7. They came from everywhere. Cargo haulers, private traders, freelance pilots, even a few retired military vessels. None of them had been ordered to come. None of them were being paid. They came because someone asked for help. The Kreth were not amused. Jinwoo stood in the main hall of Hana's settlement, surrounded by Vailani elders who looked at him with a mixture of hope and fear. Hana stood beside him, her wounds bandaged but healing. Nari held her mother's hand, watching everything with curious eyes. You brought more humans, Elder Minho said. He was old. His emerald skin faded to a lighter shade. This will anger the Kreth. They will come in greater numbers. Let them come, said a voice from the doorway. A woman walked in. She was tall for a human, with scars on her arms and confidence in her stride. Her name was Soman, captain of the retired military ship Defiant. She had fought in 3 wars and didn't scare easily. We didn't come here to hide. We came here to help. Behind her came more humans. Tejun from the Morning Star, Hyerin from the Quicksilver, others whose names Jinwoo was still learning. They filled the hall, these strange aliens who had traveled across space for strangers. Help us how? Elder Minho asked. You cannot stay here forever. Eventually you will leave and the Kreth will still be here. Then we teach you to fight back, Soman said. She pulled out a data pad and projected a hologram into the air. It showed the settlement and the surrounding terrain. The Kreth hunt you because they think you're weak. We're going to prove them wrong. We are not warriors, Hana said quietly. We are healers, farmers. We know the forest, but we don't know war. Neither did we once, Jinwoo said. Thousands of years ago, my people were prey too. We were hunted by bigger, stronger animals, but we survived. We learned. We adapted. And eventually we became the ones who couldn't be hunted anymore. Nari tugged on his jacket. How? Jinwoo knelt down to her level. We learned to work together. We learned to use our brains instead of our strength. We learned that you don't have to be the biggest or the strongest to win. You just have to be the smartest and the most stubborn. Over the next 3 days, the humans worked with the Veilani. Someone taught them tactics, how to set traps, how to use the terrain, how to make every Kreth hunting party pay a price for entering the forest. Taejun showed them how to make simple weapons from forest materials. Nothing high-tech, nothing that required factories, just smart designs that worked. Hiren taught them communication, how to set up warning systems, how to coordinate across distances, how to make sure no one faced the Kreth alone. And Jinwoo taught them the most human lesson of all: never give up. The Kreth think honor means fighting one-on-one, he explained to a group of Veilani. They think it's dishonorable to use tricks or traps. But honor doesn't keep you alive. Being smart keeps you alive. Being stubborn keeps you alive. Fighting to protect your family keeps you alive. Hana watched him teach. She saw how the other humans looked at Jinwoo. They respected him, but more than that, they trusted him. He had called and they had answered. That was the human way. My people are changing, she said to Doyun one evening. They're starting to believe they can fight back. Good, Doyun said, because the Kreth won't wait much longer. They're gathering their forces. They see us as a challenge now. He was right. 2 days later, the Kreth came. 50 warriors entered the forest, led by Vorthan, the same leader who had hunted Hana and Nari. They came to prove that humans could not protect the weak. They came to show the galaxy that the Kreth were still the strongest. They walked into every trap the Veilani had set. The first group triggered a pitfall, hidden beneath leaves. 4 Kreth fell into the hole, not deep enough to kill, but enough to injure and slow them down. The second group walked into an area marked by the Veilani. Trees had been prepared, their trunks nearly cut through. When Hiren triggered the charges remotely, the trees fell like dominoes, crushing 2 Kreth and scattering the rest. The third group found themselves surrounded. Not by warriors, but by Veilani with slings and stones. Simple weapons, but effective. The Kreth raised their energy shields, protecting themselves from the projectiles. That's when Soman's team opened fire with human weapons from another direction. The Kreth couldn't shield both directions at once. It wasn't a battle. It was a lesson. The Kreth were stronger and better armed. But they were predictable. They followed their rules, their traditions, their honor code. The humans and Veilani didn't. Vorthan raged as his hunting party retreated. This is not honorable. This is not how warriors fight. Jinwoo stepped out of the forest. He was alone, standing in a clearing where Vorthan could see him. You want honor? Fine, let's talk about honor. Vorthan's eyes blazed. You, the human who stole my prey! They weren't prey. They were people. Jinwoo walked forward slowly, his hands visible and empty. You want to hunt? Hunt someone who can fight back. Hunt me. The other humans started to protest through the comms. Jinwoo, what are you doing? Making a point, he said quietly. Vorthan laughed. You challenge me, alone? Human, I am twice your size. I have trained since childhood in combat. You will die. Maybe, Jinwoo agreed. But I'm going to make you work for it. And everyone is watching. Every human ship in orbit. Every Veilani in this forest. Every Kreth in your party. If you kill me, you prove humans can die. But if I survive even 10 minutes against you, I prove that the so-called prey can fight back. Vorthan understood. This human was turning the hunt into a test. If Vorthan won easily, it proved nothing. But if he struggled, if he was made to look weak, his reputation would be destroyed. You are clever, human. Very clever. Very well. I accept your challenge. The Kreth formed a circle. The Veilani watched from the forest. The humans held their fire, though Jinwoo could hear Doyun cursing through the comm. Vorthan drew a blade, long and curved. I will make this quick. Jinwoo pulled out his own knife, small and straight. That's what the last guy said. Vorthan charged. He was fast, much faster than Jinwoo. The blade came down in a killing strike. Jinwoo rolled sideways, letting the blade hit dirt. Vorthan spun and struck again. Jinwoo blocked with his knife, then kicked Vorthan's knee. The Kreth grunted but didn't fall. He slashed horizontally. Jinwoo ducked under the blade and struck at Vorthan's ribs. His knife scored a shallow cut. First blood, the watching Kreth murmured. No one expected the human to land a hit. You are quicker than I thought, Vorthan admitted. I'm full of surprises, Jinwoo panted. He was already tired. Vorthan wasn't. This was going to be bad. They circled each other. Vorthan attacked again and again. Each time, Jinwoo barely avoided the strikes. He couldn't match Vorthan's strength or speed. But he could be unpredictable. He threw dirt in Vorthan's eyes. He used his smaller size to get inside Vorthan's reach. He bit, he scratched. He did everything humans had done for thousands of years when fighting things bigger and stronger than themselves. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Jinwoo was bleeding from a dozen cuts. His left arm hung uselessly at his side. But he was still standing. Vorthan was breathing hard, frustrated. "Why won't you die?" Jinwoo smiled through bloody teeth. "Because I'm human. We're too stubborn to quit." Vorthan roared and charged one last time. This time Jinwoo didn't dodge. He stepped forward inside the blade's arc and drove his knife up into Vorthan's shoulder. Not a killing blow, but a painful one. Then Do-hyun's voice crackled through the comm. "Jinwoo, we're coming in!" "No!" Jinwoo shouted. "Stay back. But it was too late. The human ships descended, weapons trained on the Kreth. Not firing, just present, just watching, protecting their own. The Kreth warriors looked at their leader, waiting for orders. Vorthan looked at Jinwoo, at the ships above, at the Veilani watching from the forest. He understood what had happened. The prey had become protectors. The weak had become strong. Not through muscle, but through unity, through humans who refused to let innocent people be hunted. "We leave," Vorthan said finally. "For now. But this is not over, human." "It is for today," Jinwoo said. He collapsed to his knees, exhausted. As the Kreth retreated, Hana ran to Jinwoo's side. "You fool. You could have died. But I didn't." Jinwoo looked at her and smiled. "And now they know. Your people can fight back. They're not prey anymore." Nari hugged him carefully, avoiding his wounds. "You're hurt." "I've been worse," Jinwoo lied. "Everything hurt. Besides, totally worth it to see that guy's face." The humans came down to collect their idiot friend. But in the forest, the Veilani were celebrating. For the first time in 3 cycles, they had stood against the Kreth and won. The hunt was over. The war had just begun. 2 months after the failed Kreth hunt, the Galactic Council met to discuss what they called the human problem on Veilon 7. Jinwoo sat in the observation gallery of the council station, his arm still in a cast from his fight with Vorthan. Beside him sat Hana and Nari, who had never seen anything like this massive station that floated in space. Below them, in the council chamber, representatives from a dozen species argued about what to do. "The humans have interfered in a sovereign matter," said the Kreth representative, a old warrior named Korthax. "They have no right to be on Veilon 7. That world falls within Kreth territory." "Veilon 7 has its own native population," countered Ambassador Yunji, the human representative. She was an older woman with steel in her voice. "A population that did not consent to being hunting targets. That did not agree to become part of your territory. The weak have no say in galactic matters," Korthax replied. "That is the natural order. The strong take what they wish. The Kreth have held this position for 1,000 years." "Then maybe it's time for a new order," Yunji said coldly. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species supported the Kreth, believing in the old ways where strength determined everything. Others were nervous about the humans, about what it meant when a species decided to protect strangers. The council mediator, a floating being named Shaltik, tried to restore order. "The question before us is simple. Does Veilon 7 become a Kreth hunting preserve, or does it receive protection under council law?" "The Kreth have petitioned for preserve status," Korthax said. "We have followed all protocols. The Veilani are a primitive species without spaceflight. They have no voice in council matters," Yunji stood. "Then I propose we give them one. I propose the council recognize the Veilani as a protected species, and Veilon 7 as an independent world." "On what grounds?" Korthax demanded. "On the grounds that they asked for help and someone answered." Yunji pulled up a hologram. It showed Jinwoo's original message, the one he had sent across human frequencies. "This is a recording of Hana, a Veilani mother screaming for help as she shielded her daughter from Kreth arrows. This is a recording of what happened when humans heard that scream." The hologram showed everything: the rescue, the chase, the humans arriving to help, the training, the failed Kreth hunt. All of it. The council chamber fell silent. You see, Yunji said quietly, my people have this flaw. We hear someone screaming for help and we can't ignore it. We run toward danger instead of away from it. We protect people who can't protect themselves, even when it's not logical, even when there's no profit in it. That's just what humans do. It is not logical, agreed one of the council members, an insectoid being. But it is admirable. It is dangerous, Korthax argued. If the council allows this, it sets a precedent. Any weak species could call for humans, and the humans would come. The entire structure of galactic power would collapse. Good, Yunji said flatly. If your power structure depends on being able to hunt children, then it deserves to collapse. The vote took 3 hours. In the end, by a narrow margin, the council declared Valon 7 an independent world under council protection. The Kreth were forbidden from hunting there. Korthax stood in fury. This is not over. The Kreth do not forget insults. The humans have made powerful enemies today. Yunji smiled. We'll worry about that tomorrow. Today we saved some lives. That's enough. Up in the observation gallery, Nari tugged on Jinwoo's good arm. Did we win? Yeah, kid. We won. 3 months later, Jinwoo stood in the forest where he had first heard Hana's scream. The clearing looked different now. The Vailani had built a memorial there, a simple stone marker with words in Galactic Common. Here someone screamed for help. Here a human came. Hana walked up beside him. She had healed completely, though the scars remained. She looked at the memorial and smiled. The children asked me to tell the story every night. About the human who ran toward danger. About the humans who answered when no one else would. I'm not a hero, Jinwoo said. I just did what anyone would do. No. Hana turned to face him. You did what humans do. And that's something special. Something the galaxy needed to see. Dohyun approached with news. The council has approved funding for a Vailani defense force. They're sending trainers. And get this. 12 other species have petitioned for similar protection after seeing what happened here. So we started something, Yuna said. She was checking her weapons, preparing for their next departure. We started something good, Soman corrected. Her ship, the Defiant, was staying in orbit permanently now. She had volunteered to help train the Vailani. Other humans had made the same choice. They had come for a rescue and stayed for a revolution. Taemin was playing with Nari and some other Vailani children, showing them how to fly a small drone. The children laughed, a sound that had been rare in this forest before the humans came. What will you do now? Hana asked Jinwoo. Head to the next sector. There's trade to be done. Routes to be mapped. Jinwoo looked at her. What about you? The council wants a Vailani representative. Someone to speak for our people. Hana smiled. They asked me. Apparently saving your child from arrows while humans rescue you makes good credentials. Jinwoo laughed. You'll be great at it. Just remember to scream if you need help. Humans have really good hearing. Nari ran up and hugged Jinwoo around the waist. Do you have to leave? Yeah, I do. But I'll come back to visit, promise. Will other humans come if we need help again? Jinwoo knelt down, looking into her young eyes. Nari, here's the thing about humans. We're not the strongest species. We're not the smartest. We're not the fastest. But we have one quality that makes us different. We care about everyone. About strangers. About people we'll never meet. If you or your mom or anyone on this planet needs help, you send out a call, and somewhere, somehow, a human will answer. That's just what we do. Why? Nari asked. It was the same question everyone asked. Jinwoo thought about his answer carefully. Because a long time ago, my people learned something important. We learned that we survive together or we don't survive at all. We learned that protecting others makes us stronger, not weaker. We learned that the best part of being strong isn't what you can take, it's what you can protect. He stood up and looked at the memorial stone. And because your mom screamed for help. And someone needed to answer. What else were we supposed to do? That night, as the Wanderer prepared to leave orbit, Jinwoo sat in the cockpit with his crew. 23 human ships had come to Valon 7. Now only 5 were leaving. The others had found reasons to stay. New friends. New purposes. New lives protecting people who needed protecting. So where to next? Taemin asked. Jinwoo pulled up a star map. The galaxy was huge. Millions of worlds. Billions of people. And somewhere out there, someone else was probably screaming for help. Let's head toward the Kelvin sector, Jinwoo said. I heard there might be trouble there. Dohyun sighed. There's always trouble where you go. Yeah, but now the galaxy knows something. Jinwoo looked at his crew. these humans who had followed him into danger without question. It knows that when someone screams for help, humans answer. And that changes everything. On Valon 7, Hana stood with Nari and watched the human ships depart. The memorial stone glowed softly in the moonlight. Other Velani gathered around it, reading the words, remembering the day everything changed. Will they really come back if we need them? A young Velani asked. Hana thought about Jinwoo, about Do-hyun and Yuna and Taemin and Somin and all the other humans who had risked everything for strangers. She thought about a species that ran toward danger instead of away from it. She thought about beings who protected others even when it made no logical sense. Yes, she said with absolute certainty. They'll come. That's what humans do. Across the galaxy, on 1,000 different worlds, other species were learning the same lesson. In a universe where strength determined everything, where the weak were prey and the strong took what they wanted, humans had introduced a new concept. Someone would answer if you screamed for help. It was a small thing, really. Just one species deciding to care about others. Just one species refusing to accept that might made right. Just one species running toward danger because someone needed saving. But small things could change the galaxy. And humanity was about to prove it. In the cockpit of the Wanderer, as the stars blurred past and new adventures waited ahead, Jinwoo smiled. His arm still hurt from the fight. His ship still had damage from the chase. His crew still thought he was crazy for risking their lives. But somewhere on Valon 7, a mother and her daughter were safe. And that was worth everything, because that's what humans did. They heard someone scream for help and they came, every single time.